On Thursday night, a moving memorial tribute of vehicles will be held along Four Seasons Trail in Poland Township for a man who is part of the community his entire life. Joe Bonarigo died Saturday after testing positive for the coronavirus. First News anchor Stan Boney shares the story of this husband and father who meant so much to so many.
No one tells the story of Joe Bonarigo better than his wife, Tina. This was the two of them at Poland High School's homecoming in 1987.
So Joe and I met when we were 13 in junior high. I was telling my kids, probably in 35 years, this is the first time I haven't talked to Dad every day.
A 1988 graduate of Poland High, Joe Bonarigo was a star athlete, a four-year starter in baseball, and an all-conference linebacker in football. REID LAMPORT was his football coach.
When we first took over, Poland had a number of down years. And so Joe was one of those guys that helped us build the program.
Joe and Tina would marry and have two children. She teaches first grade in Poland. He started a painting company.
And he chose that so that he could be at all our kids' events growing up.
Then, 2 weeks ago, Joe developed a dry cough and a fever, which became worse. Last Wednesday, Tina was told to take him to St. Elizabeth's in Boardman.
And they started to wheel him away. And I just said, we love you and I'll talk to you soon. And I truly believed that we would.
By Thursday, Joe was on a ventilator and in a medically induced coma with no visitors.
You're getting information about every 8 hours. And every 8 hours I had to wait was like a year.
By Saturday night, Joe's fever was up. His kidneys were in distress and his heart was weak.
And then they called us back and they held the phone to his ear so that we could each tell him what we needed to tell him. And then they called me back and said he had passed.
They lost a great one with Joe.
Rocky NITTOLI was a friend of Joe's since grade school.
Even back in the day when we played sports in high school, the guys in the other teams knew him and respected him just because of the way he carried himself.
Joe Bonarigo was a hard-working, humble, all-around good guy, which his wife wraps up in one simple anecdote.
There were a couple ladies who were widows that I knew when he'd go over to work at their house, he'd be gone a little longer because they'd want to have a coffee. And no matter how tired he was after working, he would always sit down and spend that time with them.
So many people are expected for a Thursday night's drive-by memorial past the Bonarigo house that it's being divided up alphabetically by last name. A to G can drive by from 5 to 6, H to P from 6 to 7, and Q to Z from 7 to 8. The family will be sitting on the front porch. Tina says the funny thing about this whole thing is that Joe was so humble that he would have thought that all this fuss was way over the top. Live in the newsroom, Stan Boney, WKBN 27 First News.